Charama vritti. Charama vritti means the final vritti, the final modification of the mind. Final or ultimate. Why final or ultimate? Because it's a technical point. As ignorance is destroyed and you realize I am Brahman, the world is a manifestation and appearance. Not only is the world an appearance, the body is also an appearance in pure consciousness. The mind is also an appearance in pure consciousness. And hear this knowledge that I am Brahman is also an appearance in pure consciousness. Right now, if I get knowledge, up to that, the first, second, third steps, it would be a clear feeling. I know. I have studied the Upanishads. I know the Upanishads. Whether I say it or not, I know. It is a clear feeling for me. I am the knower of the Upanishads. Then second stage of level of knowledge of Brahman. I have clarity. I have understood. I am the one who has understood Vedanta. Whether I say it or not, whether I claim it or not, I feel it. Third level. And I feel that I am Brahman and I meditate upon that. I am centered. I am the one who is centered in my Brahman identity. I am doing it. But in the fourth stage, it's not like that. Now that I itself is jettisoned, Brahman alone remains. I am Brahman is the truth. No longer I am knower of Brahman. Shankaracharya says, Brahmaivaham natu Brahmavit. I am Brahman, not a knower of Brahman. I love that about Nisargadatta Maharaj. He was asked once, somebody said to him, you are great, you are a knower of Brahman. Brahma Jnani hai aap. In Marathi somebody said to him. And he is reputed to have been a rough man. He immediately shouted at that fellow. He said, are you insulting me? So what do you mean insult? You are knower of Brahman is the greatest praise. He said, no, I am not a knower of Brahman. I am Brahman. So I am Brahma, like Brahma. Brahmaivaham natu Brahmavit. Shankaracharya says, I am Brahman, not a knower of Brahman. The one who says knower of Brahman is still practicing. He's not enlightened. Honestly, if you can, you don't have to say it. If you see clearly, I am Brahman, it's done. That's enlightenment. But only one part of it. There's another part of it. So always joke. The next part of it is living it. Then many issues will come up. It should be, at this stage, it should be easy for such a one to live it. But still, it's something we can discuss in later chapters. Why I say this, and the word enlightenment can make a play on it. There can be two meanings. Light as in light. So one is enlightenment. It's lit up. It's revealed to me. I get it. I know that I am Brahman. That becomes clear to me. That's one enlightenment. That is God realization, self-realization, Brahma Jnana. It's also called Brahmakara Vritti, all of that. That's correct. But there is another side of enlightenment. Light means in Bengali or Hindi, halka. Like you feel lighter. Otherwise you feel burdened. So enlightenment, in that sense, it should make us light. The burden of samsara should be gone forever. You should feel, as one monk said, I felt as if I was walking. Turiyanji says in one place, that I often feel as if I am walking on air. So that freedom, complete freedom, lightness, even in the midst of responsibilities, problems and all, you should have, like Ramachandra, smile. When you're going to be crown prince of Ayodhya, smile. Next moment, you're thrown out of the kingdom and sent into the forest, smile. So one teacher put it very beautifully. He said, Vedanta takes you from what to so what. Very nicely put. When the reaction in life is what? So what? So that is the other side of enlightenment, that making everything, your life is light. So both sides. This first, what we did today is the first type of enlightenment, light. The light has finally come on. This is truly, I am Brahman. The fourth level. So 4 levels of knowledge of Brahman. Remember, first 3 are not being dismissed. They are absolutely necessary and they are good. If you study Vedanta and you know what Vedanta has taught you, very good. Congratulations. It's a great, great thing to learn. Second, if you have really understood it, even better. Third level, if you are trying to live accordingly, superb. You are a real practitioner, real Vedanta. And fourth level, of course, is a fully enlightened being. Alright, actually I've gone beyond my time. We won't have time to see why the world is false today. You're saying the world has been saved for one more month. But one last point I'll make and then stop. Remember I promised, the verse itself said, in this knowledge is hidden Brahman. Like sweetness in milk. You see, Brahman is hidden in this realization. How? So on page 192, he makes the difference between Nitya, this Aparoksha Jnana, Nitya and Anitya. It's an interesting distinction. Aparoksha Jnana means direct realization that I am Brahman. Aparoksha Jnana. Another distinction. Level 1, 2, 3 are Paroksha Jnana. The level 4 is Aparoksha Jnana. Level 1, 2, 3 are indirect knowledge. It's not that you don't know. You know, but you know it indirectly. It's not direct realization yet. Level 4 is direct realization, Aparoksha Jnana. So Paroksha, Aparoksha. Indirect, direct. And what we are aiming for is direct realization. And it comes through the indirect. Now, in that direct realization also, he makes a distinction. It's a rare distinction he makes. There is a transient component to it and there is an eternal component to it. When that moment of realization comes, I am Brahman. Oh, this is what I am. It is a distinct moment. There will be a clear before and after. It will be something that was not there earlier. Now it is there. It's clear now. Then it will go away. Whatever comes will go. It's a principle. If something has come, it will go. That moment, intuitive moment of grasp will go away. But what will not go away is the realization that you are Brahman. That will remain. It's like cloud which covers the sun, or at least covers our vision of the sun. I can't see it. The sun is there, but I can't see it. Now a gust of wind comes and drives the cloud away, and the sun is revealed, it's shining brightly. Now that moment of revelation of the sun, that driving away of the cloud, that's momentary. The wind came, cloud moved away. That happened in a second or two. That will not continuously go on, that's gone. But the sun is there, that is eternally there. Like that. Till now I did not realize that I am Brahman. I mean, it was not vivid to me. I realized theoretically, paroksha, indirect, whatever you call it, level 1, 2, 3, all these things I realized. But it was not a full-blown real. Now I do realize that moment is temporary. It will come, it will go away. But what will leave you with is, you are Brahman. That you will realize, not only that I am Brahman now, you will realize, I always was this. How come I never saw it earlier? And I always will be this. And this is amazing. So that will remain. So there are two sides to this moment of realization. This is the fourth level we are talking about, Brahmakara Vritti. There is an impermanent component, transient component. The flash, when it comes, that flash will go away. Sri Ramakrishna puts it beautifully. When the thorn of ignorance has gone into your flesh, you take the thorn of knowledge and pick out the thorn of ignorance. And then throw away both. You don't keep the thorn of knowledge in your flesh. How beautifully put. When you feel that I am not Brahman, I am body, mind, we have the thorn of ignorance. I am not Brahman. Someone might say, but I don't think that I am not Brahman. Yes, but we do think and behave as if we are this person, body, mind. That's the thorn of ignorance. And that is removed by the thorn of knowledge, which comes through level 1, 2, 3. That's the thorn of knowledge, culminating in the fourth level. That's also the thorn of knowledge. That comes and it shows us that we are Brahman. That itself is also thrown away. It's not that it will remain. If it remained, then you would have honestly said, I am a knower of Brahman. But it goes away and leaves us as Brahman. So there is an eternal component to it, there's a transient component. The transient component goes away. Like any other flash of knowledge, it also comes and goes. But the reality which has been realized is eternally there. It was there earlier, it will continue to be there. That's the eternal component of Brahmakara Vritti, of Brahman knowledge. That much only is the analysis which I wanted to present. It's actually 50% of what I wanted to present. But it's the important part. This is the reality part. The other appearance part is in verse number 5. Verse number 4 is just a praise. What we did till now, a praise of that. Vicharena parighyata swabhavasya uditatmanaha anukampaya bhavantiha Brahma Vishnu Shivadayaha. Even Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, they become objects of compassion for you if you realize you are Brahman. So, that is an amazing thing. That's the greatest thing that one can have in life, ever. And that's the purpose of all, according to Vedanta, why we are living these lives, lifetime after lifetime. We are all moving towards that, slowly or fast. And the other part which I wanted to talk about, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, Brahman is real, the world is an appearance. What do you mean by world is an appearance? So that, should I just mention it briefly and then let it be? Or do you have patience for that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Let me just mention it. Let's go to verse number 5. Kimidam Vishwamakhilam, Kimidam Vishwamakhilam, King Syamahamiti Swayam, King Syamahamiti Swayam, Vichara Niratasyetat, Vichara Niratasyetat, Asadeva Bhavet Jagat, Asadeva Bhavet Jagat. To a person who is constantly engaged in this type of discrimination, what is the true nature of this whole universe? What is the very essential nature of my own self? The world appears as quite unreal and trivial. Okay, so here comes this claim that the world is an appearance. There is a verse given in support of this in the notes from the Varaha Upanishad. I'll just read it. Shastrena nasyat paramartha drishti Karyakshama nashyati cha paroksham prarabdha nashat pratibhasa nasha evam tridha nashyati chatma maya. 3 levels of falsity of the world. One is, when we study Vedanta, we will be shown through arguments and logic that the world has to be an appearance. Brahman is the only reality. It's like a movie screen on which the movie is playing. The world is like the movie, Brahman is like the screen. It's like the mirror on which the reflection appears. Brahman is like the mirror and the universe is like the reflection. Many examples. It's like the rope in which it is mistaken to be the snake. Brahman is like the rope and the universe is like the snake. So we will be shown through metaphors and logic also. And so we come to an understanding of the falsity of the world. This is level 1. This world is not the ultimate reality. Science does something like that. It seems chairs and tables are real. Well, yes, but they are actually fundamental particles which are nothing like wood and table and like a chair and carpet and wood. No. It's energy and they talk about superstrings now and so on. So Vedanta does something like that. Logically it shows to us. The world still feels real and we behave as if it's real, but logically it shows to us that the world is not ultimately real. Then comes that aparoksha jnana, direct realization, 4th level knowledge, that I am Brahman. Then from that perspective, when I look at the world in experience, 2nd level, from anubhava, aparoksha jnana, this is called badha, jagat badha. This is the negation of the world. That the world appears, you will still see it, your car will work, your ATM will work, everything will work, but it seems like a dream, like an appearance, like a virtual reality. What is the reality? You, Brahman, you are the reality. That becomes clear. In your own experience, no longer logically, actually as a fact. Then everything will appear dreamlike. Then comes the 3rd one, prarabdha nashat pratibhasa nasha. At one point, even the appearance will go away. Even when you are, the world is appearing, once in a while the appearance will go away. When you go in, the enlightened one goes into samadhi, for example, the world does not appear. But at one point, the body of the enlightened one, that will also die. This is called videha mukti, the freedom at the end of the physical body. When the prarabdha karma, accumulated karma which is operating this body will be exhausted, this body will die. Swami Vivekananda says, heed no more how body lives or goes, its task is done, let karma float it down. At one point this body will go. You are fine with it, it's nothing to you anymore. It's an appearance. It's less than nothing to you. So you realize you are existence, consciousness, bliss, and you remain as that. Then the body, when the body disappears, the world appearance also will disappear from the enlightened one. It remains as only as infinite being, infinite awareness, infinite bliss. So that is the third level of falsity of the world. 3 levels of falsity of the world. Right now, make an effort, try to understand Vedanta. All these Vedanta lectures, thought you think well about it, we will begin to understand that the world is false. Understand. That's the operative word. We understand. And upon the 4th level of realization, we will actually see that the world is false. Actually, when we go through Vedantic meditation, 3rd level, we will begin to see, once in a while it will become clear, the world is a passing show. 4th level, it will become very clear, dreamlike. And then the 3rd level of falsity is when the physical body of the enlightened one dies. Jivan Mukti is finished, and Videha Mukti, after that Videha Mukti, then there is no world appearance from that personal perspective anymore. For other persons, it will continue. So that is the 3rd level, no appearance also. So 1st level, there is appearance, it feels real, but intellectually we know it is false. Level 1. Not very useful. That's the level at which people say, I understand it, but I get affected by the world very much. That's because we understand intellectually. But it does not feel real to us. The world feels real to us, our understanding feels like understanding. And there's somebody said, Kitab ka baat sala kitab mein reh gaya. Whatever was taught in the books, it remained in the books. It's not real. Swami Turiyanandaji was the great master of Vedanta. In his later life, he had many surgeries performed. He never allowed them to use chloroform. In those days, chloroform. And the surgery would perform various parts of the body. He would seem as if completely unaffected by pain. It's not that he would merge into meditation. He would be aware. And that Upanishad says, with eyes as if with no eyes, with ears as if with no ears, with prana, breathing, living as if there's no prana. He could do that. He could remain centered in his nature as pure awareness and not bother about the body and its pain. So that's the 2nd level of falsity of the world. By your knowledge of pure consciousness, I am that, the world appears dreamlike. And the 3rd level is, world does not appear at all. World is gone forever. So these are the 3 levels of falsity of the world. One quotation is given here. I'll say, chant that and explain it and then stop, translate and stop. Vidyaranya Swami in Panchadashi, the great master of who wrote Panchadashi 600 years ago, there he explains this in a slightly different way. This is on page 196. Page 196. What is the status of the world in Vedanta? Tuchcha nirvachaniya cha vastavi chetyasau tridha geya maya tribhir bodhai shrauta yoktika laukikaihi shrauta yoktika laukikaihi. This world appears threefold, in 3 ways. To the enlightened one, to the one who has mastered Vedanta, and to the ordinary person. What are the 3 ways? He says to the Laukika, ordinary person, the world appears as Vastavi, hard reality. It's just a fact. You can't deny it. It's just life which we are leading. Solid fact. Vastavi. Vastavi means fact, reality. Second, Shrauta Yoktika. The logic which we get from Vedanta, Shruta. From the Vedanta, the logic which we get, once you master it, then the world will appear to you anirvachaniya. You can't say it is real anymore. You begin to understand how it's an appearance. But you can't dismiss it as false also. Because it's appearing, it's affecting you. Anirvachaniya means inexpressible either as real or as false. Either as existing or as non-existing. You can't say it really exists because you realize now through Vedanta that Brahman alone exists. I am that Brahman. But you can't say world does not exist. Everything appears to you. Even your Vedanta appears to you. The world is appearing. Everything is there. So how can you say it is non-existent at all? So the world takes on an indeterminable character. It's called anirvachaniya. It cannot be expressed as ultimately real or as unreal. This is another technical way of saying false. False. It's the difference between telling the truth Keeping quiet and telling a lie. Telling the truth is speaking and saying it as it is. Keeping quiet is not saying anything at all. Telling a lie is speaking, but saying what it is not, what the case is not. It's saying it, telling an untruth. So the word is like telling an untruth. It's not the truth, not the ultimate truth. And yet it's not nothing either. It's like saying something. After all, when a person tells a lie, the person has spoken. It's not silence. Unreality is like silence. Reality is like true speech. But the word is like false speech. So this is called anirvachaniya. And then last one, bodhi, by the fourth level of realization. It says tuchha, non-existent. The world seems non-existent to the enlightened one. Those who have attained the fourth level of enlightenment. Alright. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We can have a few minutes of question answer. One more point which was just said there, that we just say it here because it's a very nice point which has been made on the same page where we were reading that Panchadashi verse. Page 196, if you see paragraph number 2, the cessation of the world, this is a translation of Nirodha. Cessation of the world is of three kinds: Mithyatva Nishchay, Abhava Nishchay, Adhisthana Nishchay, Adhisthana Avashesha Nishchay. Okay. These are three views. Mithyatva Nishchay is the view of Swami Vidyaranya, Panchadashi. Second one is the view of the Vivarana. Actually, it's Prakashatmayati, though it says Madhva Acharya, but it says Prakashatmayati actually, Vivarana. And the third view is the view of Sureshwaracharya, Vartika. What does it mean? Three views on the falsity of the world. This can be easily understood if you take the snake rope example. Now the snake rope example, snake is false, rope is real. This is a classic example. Now I might say, what is the nature of the snake, that false snake? What is it? What's the reality there? Well, I might say that the snake is a false appearance. You saw the snake, but it's what you saw is not real. You saw something unreal, like a dream, an illusion. So that is called Mithyatva Nishchaya, the determination of the falsity of the world appearance. The world, you are seeing it, you can see it, you can speak about it, you can use it, transaction is going on, Nama, Rupa, Vyavahara, all is going on, and yet you know it is false. Like nowadays we have virtual reality. So you know it is false, but you can interact with it. Everything works there also. So it is called Mithyatva Nishchaya, your determination or your understanding that it is an appearance. That's one way of looking at snake rope. The snake is an appearance, is an illusion, it's a mistake. That's one way. Whose view is that? Vidyaranya Swami. Word is an appearance, Brahman is real. Snake is an appearance, rope is real. Second way of looking at the whole thing is what is called Abhava. There is no snake in the rope. There never was. I don't care what appears. Really, there is no snake in the rope. Really, in Brahman, there is no world. World, it is the absence of the world. Notice, the same snake rope. You can say in one way, illusory appearance of the snake, that's your stress. That is one way of understanding. Second way of understanding is non-existence of the snake in the rope. Third way of understanding is, it's the rope. All that exists there, you forget yours, the snake. It's not there at all. What I'm stressing is the rope. In the same way, in Brahman and the world, one might, if you stress the world appearance, the world is false. Falsity of the world. That is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, there is no world in Brahman. Third way of looking at it is Brahman, it's all Brahman. Brahman and Brahman alone exists. Same world which you are seeing. If you're seeing this, if someone says it's an appearance, that's the first view. Seeing this, if someone says, I see the reality in which there is no world at all, that's the second view. And seeing this, if someone says, this is Brahman, everywhere there's only one reality, God and God alone exists, or Brahman and Brahman alone exists, inside, outside, one reality only. That's the third view. And all three are views of this world only. This way of looking, this is what you are seeing, experiencing right now. The first one technically is called Mithyatva Nishchaya, view of Vidyaranya Swami of Panchadashi. Second one is called Abhava Nishchaya, absence, determination of absence, attributed to the Vivarana school. And the third one is the Adhisthana, the ground of the appearance is emphasized, Brahman is emphasized. That is the view of the Vartika school of Sureshwaracharya. You know, if you ask Swami Vivekananda or Sri Ramakrishna, which one would they prefer? The third one, I think. That it is Brahman. They would not stress the falsity of the world. They would not go so far as to say, none of this exists, Brahman alone exists. They would rather say that Brahman, this is all Brahman. All three. But it's important to note these are just matters of subtle difference of emphasis. The same snake row, same word and Brahman can be understood in these three ways. One should be able to shift one's perspective, dial one's perspective in a subtle way to get each one of these views and say, yeah, okay, tick, check, tick, tick. Then you know your understanding is clear. You see what they are speaking about. Good. Questions? The lady there, raise your hand. They will. You have to be aggressive about raising your hand. They'll come with the microphone to you. And tell us your name and ask the question. Make a precise question.
My name is Atreyi Chatterjee.
Yes.
My question is there for Brahman compassion?
Compassion always requires two. Compassion. You must have compassion for somebody. Brahman doesn't require compassion.
Okay. Got it.
But we require compassion.
Got it.
So, for example, a person who realizes I am Brahman. Will that person have compassion for others? Yes. How do you know? First of all, empirical data. Look at the data. Look at the lives of the great saints. Even the Advaitic saints. Did they have compassion? Yes. None of them ever said, so I subscribe to the second view. The world does not exist. And so all your troubles don't exist. Only Brahman exists. Therefore I have no compassion for you at all. No enlightened person ever said this. They could have. Didn't say it. They said that it is Brahman alone and I am serving Brahman. Shiva Jnana Jiva Seva, for example. Why am I serving the Jiva? One could just as well say, he's a hungry person, that's why I'm feeding him. He says, no. It's my spiritual practice. I am serving Shiva in the form of that hungry person. As Vivekananda said, my God the hungry, my God the sick, my God the poor, my God the wicked. So what is he saying? He is saying Brahman there. And he's serving. So that's the third view. And there is compassion. Why compassion? Sri Ramakrishna said, why compassion? Service, seva. He says, not daya, Sheva. Shiva Jnana, Jiva Sheva. Yes.
Thank you.
So whole of Vivekananda's and our Ramakrishna Mission doctrine of service and all is based on this non-duality itself. But on the emphasis of the indwelling of Brahman in all beings, including suffering beings. This is a very important question. Akhandananda Swami, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, who started the orphanage in Sargachi, Murshidabad, and famine relief in those days, during the great famine in Bengal at that time. So one great scholar of Advaita, Pramoda Das Babu from Benares, we are back to Benares again. So he writes a letter to Swami Akhandananda, says that you are monks, what is all this with schools and orphanages and feeding the hungry and the sick? That's not your work. You should study Vedanta and teach it to us and then beg for your food and wander around and all that. The traditional idea. So Akhandananda writes a fiery letter back to him. And he says that you are saying about the realization of Atman, of Brahman, but doesn't your Vedanta, he is poking him, doesn't your Vedanta say we are Brahman already? Why should Brahman try for the realization of Brahman? Isn't it already a fact? And then he says, and the same Brahman which you are talking about, I see that Brahman naked in front of me, starving in front of me, dying for a want of a morsel of rice in front of me. I shall serve Brahman in these forms. If it takes me to hell, let it take me to hell. Fiery letter. And Pramoda Babu did not reply after that.
Yes. Hello, my name is Reshmi.
Yes.
There are 4 stages of enlightenment that you mentioned.
4 stages of knowledge. So in one way, you can say there are 4 stages of knowledge of Brahman, and the last one is really enlightenment.
Is there any scenario, not everybody has access to Vedanta or that capacity to understand, like can anybody achieve enlightenment without the knowledge of Vedanta?
Yes. Because we are Brahman, Vedanta itself would say that. Vedanta is probably the only one which would say you don't have to be a Vedantin or a Hindu, you just have to be any human being who is inquiring. Because the claim is that regardless of what you believe, whether you're a man or a woman or any gender, any race, living in whichever time, wherever you live, you are Brahman. Everything here is Brahman. So why can you not realize that you're Brahman? It's your real nature. It's your spiritual heritage. You should be able to awaken to it. Ramana Maharshi was once asked, am I qualified for Vedanta? And Ramana Maharshi said, did you say I? His method, unique method was, who am I? The same, here Vasishta says to Rama, anybody who inquires, who am I? Will destroy the seed of samsara and attain to realization. So anybody can. But this is a pretty straightforward path. Pretty powerful path. If you say a person does not have the capacity for this, but if you look at all the other paths, any genuine spiritual path is demanding. One says bhakti is easier in some ways, but genuine bhakti is not easy at all. You'll have to be like Ramakrishna, like Mirabai, like Tulsidas, like that. So, yeah. So every path is demanding, and also I think it also depends upon our mental constitution, whether this appeals to you or not. If it appeals to you, it is for you. If it does not appeal to you, but you're a spiritual seeker, I would say that you find a path which appeals to you, but this path at least know it. Just get a working understanding of what it entails. Some people might not be pulled to this kind of teaching. That's alright, that's perfectly alright. Vedanta is very liberal that way. It doesn't say you have to come here. In fact, Vedanta is pretty non-missionary. We are a little more missionary than general, traditional Vedanta teachers would put obstacles on your path. They would not easily teach this. So certainly would not advertise online. There's a class coming. No. So we don't do too much of advertising, but we don't do. But we also want that it should be available, because Vivekananda's mission was that the Vedanta which was restricted to a few monks, Vedanta which was restricted to mountain caves and forests, I shall spread it across the cities of the world. That was his mission, and that's what we are trying to do. But still, Vedanta is in spirit it is very non-missionary. Vedanta is very patient. You want to try something out, what the Americans say? Knock yourself out. We are very patient, we'll be there. Come back 10, 20 years later, 40 years later. We have seen that happening. Somebody comes to Vedanta, I've seen in different Vedanta societies. And then they find something more attractive and nice there, a new teacher, the latest on town, the latest version of some kind of teaching goes there. 20 years, 25 years later, they're back. No, this is the genuine thing. We explored this and that and we found this is really genuine. If not, suppose, does everybody come back? No, we'll wait next life, we can come back. And it doesn't have to be in this form. It just has to be the teaching that you are that ultimate reality. It can come in English, it can come in through some other tradition, something like that. Yes.
Namaskaram, Swami. Namaskaram, Swami. My name is Sampath Kumar. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. My question to you today is, you called the fourth stage the Brahmakara Vritti.
Yes.
So, Vritti by definition is an object in the Chittam.
Yes.
So there is a duality in that Brahmakara Vritti.
Yes.
So that sense of I am would have to drop for us to realize Brahman?
Yes. There is a sense of duality. The question can be put in this way. Isn't a vritti means a movement in the mind?
Right.
Chitta vritti basically. But isn't Brahman beyond the mind? How can a movement in the mind capture Brahman? Or another way you put it, Brahman is non-dual, but any movement in the mind is firmly in the realm of duality. How can that capture or reveal non-duality? Well, the answer here is this. The role of the Brahmakara vritti, this final flash of realization, I am Brahman, the role of that is not to reveal that you are Brahman. The role of the Brahmakara Vritti is to destroy ignorance. The ignorance which says, I am not Brahman, that ignorance has to be destroyed. That I am Brahman is already self-revealed. This is like the sun which is shining. The gust of wind will remove the cloud. The gust of wind will not reveal the sun. The sun is self-revealed. The problem was the cloud. The cloud is removed by the gust of wind. The gust of wind is Brahmakara Vritti. So the Brahmakara Vritti does two things. There are two parts of it. The Brahmakara Vritti comes and removes the gust of wind. That's why it was said that is the temporary part of it. But there is an eternal part of it. What is that eternal part? The sun itself. It's always shining. We would say the sun is not part of the Brahmakara Vritti. No, it is not. It is always there. But that it is always there is revealed because of the activity of the Brahmakara Vritti, which removes ignorance. So, now it becomes logical. Ignorance about my real nature is at the level of the mind. Brahmakara Vritti also is at the level of the mind. So, knowledge and ignorance both are at the level of the mind. Knowledge removes ignorance, and the knowledge itself is what is called Mithyatva Nishchaya. Its falsity is ascertained because I am Brahman, becomes clear to me.
Thank you.
Even the I am Brahman is in the mind. Brahman is clear.
Swamiji?
Yes.
Ritu here. Swamiji, how do we know that we are on the right path? By doing Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and it's hard to actually come up with a concise question in front of you, but I think my question is that if I know I'm on the right path, then I know that my inner guru is going to guide me. So if the mind is going to present a sabotage or taking me back to the previous tendencies, then that moment-to-moment awareness that I'm working towards in accomplishing this Nididhyasanam and this, really firming up my knowledge.